Cool. So today, let's go ahead and start on our backs. And any position where the feet are planted knee towards sky is just fine. That can be feet wide, knees knocked in, sides of the feet together. But we'll start in a position with the legs bent. Take a moment to close the eyes and just allow for a couple deep breaths. You might do a few exhales out of the mouth if it feels like there's some stale air in the body. Or you might begin to tap into your ujjayi breath, that slight constriction at the back of the throat. Let your focus be on the fullness of the inhale. At the top of every inhale, maybe you even sip in just a little more air, really exploring the edge there. How full can the inhale be? Feel the expansive nature of the inhale, front to back, side to side, top to bottom. On your next inhale, let's bring the arms up overhead and take a little bit of a stretch, maybe wiggling out the hips and the shoulders. And then from here, we'll bring the hands down by the sides, palms face down. Move the feet so that they're about hips distance apart if they're not there already. Root down through all four corners of each foot and press into them just until you feel the sacrum become a little bit lighter on the mat. And then lift the hips a bit more and a bit more. And very slowly, we're just going to move through this bridge pose. Feeling every single tiny engagement until you hit that point where you really feel the glutes engaged. And then, of course, continuing further. Still feeling the glutes engaged. Maybe you have to recheck in with the feet. Sometimes we roll to the outer edges. So recheck in with them. Feel the outer hips hug inward. As the glutes continue to support you, maybe now you feel your entire leg really working here. Each leg, not just one. And then on the exhale, we're going to very gently begin to lower with that same really slowed, really intentional pace. All the way down until the sacrum just gently reaches the mat. And then we can put pressure back onto it, softening down. All right, we're going to do another round of that. That's super slowed down, attentive bridge. So weight into the feet, feel the sacrum just so barely begin to hover. And then that very slow rise. Thinking of centimeters at a time, not even inches. Check in with all four corners of each foot. Notice that place where all of a sudden you feel the glutes more fully. Hug those outer hips in, keeping the legs pointing straight forward. Maybe the heart begins to lift a little bit. Once you reach the top, go just a little bit further, finding your edge in this shape for this early in class. And then we're going to hold here for 2 cycles of breath. One more. One more inhale, maybe lifting just a bit more. And then the exhale, again, that's super attentive, slow motion lower. Keep pressing into the feet even as you lower. Notice where you start to think, oh, I'm going to feel the mat. And then notice how much distance there is, if there is a difference, between where that thought comes into your mind and where your sacrum actually hits the mat. And then from here, we're going to walk the feet as wide as the mat, bring the arms out to a T, and windshield wiper the legs side to side. And let's refrain from like that full flopping of the legs. Keep them a little active here at the start. And the next time both legs are over to the right, we will allow that flop to happen. Really release down. Maybe even bring the right ankle atop the left knee. Take some big, deep breaths here. Gently release back up through center. And again, those slightly activated wipers side to side. And the next time both legs are toward the left side of the mat, we'll soften into that. Maybe left ankle comes atop right knee. Gently release. Come back up through center. From here, heel toe the feet together until they're touching. Let the feet fall, the knees fall open to the sides. Give maybe a little bit of a wiggle side to side. And then press the bottoms of the feet together. From here, press into the outer edges of the feet. Again, super slow until you feel the sacrum just become light on the mat. And then as it begins to hover, and then maybe we keep pressing that same slow motion, but this time with diamond legs. And find your edge on this shape. Keep pressing into the outer edges of the feet. Keep pressing bottoms of feet toward one another. And slowly release down toward the mat. Once the sacrum has landed, we can bring the knees up toward one another. Walk the feet wide, let the knees fall in toward the midline. Take a breath here. On an inhale, we'll again reach the arms long. Exhale, hands come toward the thighs. Option to rock up or to just with control find your way up. So maybe that means elbows come down to the mat. And you really use the core, coming lightly to the elbows and then up. Once we're in a seat, we're going to inhale, bring the arms up. And exhale, twist to the right. Left hand outside of right knee. Inhale back through center. And exhale to the left. Inhale up through center. And exhale, rock over the ankles. Find your way to hands and knees. Take a few circles over the wrists. Maybe even finding a sort of figure 8 with the shoulders here. It's a little funky. Maybe finding traditional circles. Making sure you go both ways, a couple one direction, a couple the other, and so on. Once you're to a place where you're pretty balanced out, keep rooting down through the hands and check in with the belly. Sometimes it wants to kind of just sag down here and the tailbone lift. So bring the pelvis to neutral, noticing how the core naturally supports that. And we're going to shift weight into the left leg, but keep the weight even through both hands. Reach the right leg back. Plant those toes and take a couple rocks to stretch out that calf, maybe even getting into the Achilles a bit. Rock back to your traditional shape here, reaching the right leg up behind you. From here, we're gonna do that very slow intentional lift until you feel the glute engage. Check that the hip isn't opening to the right. We wanna keep everything angled down. And then lift as much as you can, feeling the glute as the source of that lift. So not adding in a sway to the back to create more lift. And then from here, slow lower. Tap the toes to the mat. Slow lift. All the way back up to that point of highest engagement. And lower. One more. Lift. And lower. From here, bend the knee, foot towards ceiling. Let's take 5 pulsations up, going a little bit slower than we might normally. 3, 2, 1. And with that leg lifted, wing it out to the side, fire hydrant style. And we're gonna do just a couple lifts and lowers here. Lower down and lift. Lower and lift. Last one. Lower and lift. Kick that foot out to the side. Send the hips back, asymmetrical child's pose. Allowing ourselves to get a little into that inner right thigh. Use an inhale to pull yourself forward, coming back into a traditional tabletop, right knee planted. Take a moment to wiggle the hips out. Notice any difference in sensation between left and right sides. Maybe you take some pelvic tilts forward and backward, almost doing like a half cat-cow. You can always recruit the shoulders and make it a full cat-cow if you want. And as you feel fairly balanced out, return through neutral. Check in with that pelvic tilt, check in with the core engagement, and then send the left leg back. Toes to mat, we'll take a couple rocks into that calf. Some gentle opening. And then lift that leg up. So again, check in with the core, check in with the hips. You want to keep them square. And then lift the left leg just as much as you can while feeling that glute engage without sagging through the belly and lifting the tailbone or opening that hip to the left. And then lower all the way back down to the mat. And again, slowly lift all the way back up and all the way down. Last one, all the way up and all the way down. Bend the knee, reaching foot towards ceiling. And we'll do 5 lifts here, going just a bit slower than we might normally. 3, 2, 1. Fire hydrant to the left and lower and lift. 2 more. Last one. This time when the leg is lifted, kick it out, plant that foot, asymmetrical child's pose. On your next exhale, really soften here, give it your all. And then on the next inhale, drag yourself forward. Come back through a neutral tabletop. Wiggle it out, find some organic movement. Maybe you even come back and wiggle out the wrists. This is a lot of time on the wrist this early in practice. All right, so we're about to enter into our sun salutations. As we prepare to do that, we'll pick up pace a little bit, but we're going to keep on with this motif of really focusing in on subtlety and maybe slowing down movements that we do frequently so that they feel a little bit different. So let's all start by moving the hands forward to handprint. We'll do 2 rounds of cat-cow here, exhaling to press the mat away, maybe hover the knees. Option to keep the knees lifted or to lower on the inhale. And then on your 3rd round, go all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Bicycle it out, explore the shape a little. On your next inhale, let's swing this right leg up, keeping that knee and toes pointed down. Reach it up until you feel the glute engage. And then exhale, lower those toes to the mat. Inhale, lift, find that engagement. Exhale, rock forward knee toward right elbow. Inhale, all the way back up. Lift and engage. Exhale, toes toward mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee toward right elbow. Step that foot down at the front edge of the mat. Lower the left knee, inhale, chest chin up. And exhale, lift the left knee. Really slowed step forward. So try to make it as slow as you can. Step that foot to stand next to the right. Inhale, let's rise all the way up. Reach those arms high. And exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, bring them back up. And exhale, fold it down. Fingertips on the mat. This time the right foot steps back. Lower that knee, inhale. And exhale. With control, step back, plank pose. Take a moment here. Feel your strength, feel your stability. And you guessed it, we're gonna lift that right leg up. Lift until you feel the glute turn on, and then lift a little bit higher, but keeping all of the hip, the knee, the toes pointed down. Take one breath here. Lower the right toes, lower the knees, chest and chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, plant the pelvis. Really gentle baby cobra to start, pressing the pelvis down, lifting the heart up with the muscles of the back. Exhale, release. Inhale, find your way up and back, downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths. On the next inhale, let's lift the left leg up. Everything stays square. Maybe we lift a little bit higher to feel that glute kick on. Exhale, lower the toes toward the mat. Inhale, lift, feel that glute. Exhale, rock forward, knee toward left elbow. Inhale, send it back up. Feel the glute. Exhale, lower the toes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee toward left elbow. And then step the foot forward. Lower the right knee, inhale. And on the exhale, with control, shift the weight to the left foot, step the right foot forward, fold. Inhale, let's rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift those arms. Exhale, fold it down. Planting the fingers, left foot steps back. Lower that knee, inhale. Exhale, plant the hands with control. Right foot goes back, plank pose. Take a moment to set up. Think of gripping into the fingertips and squeezing index and thumb toward each other, and then lift the left leg. Hip, knee, toes pointed down until you feel that left glute engage. From here, lower the left toes, lower the knees, chest, chin. Inhale, sneak it through. Cobra. Exhale, soften. Inhale, press up and back. Child's pose. And then from here, grip into the fingertips. Press into the hands, maybe with the torso a bit, creating some space to then lift back, downward dog. All right, feel through it. Left to right, right to left. And we'll go through, adding a little more on. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, toes tap the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee toward elbow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, toes to mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee to elbow and step it through. Lower the left knee, inhale. This time we're gonna inhale, bring the torso upright, low lunge. On the exhale, hands come to heart center, lift the left knee, high lunge. Nice. All right, from here, option to lift the arms or option to interlace the hands and press against the front thigh, creating a little more distance between the belly and the thigh. Maybe bringing the pelvis to a slightly more neutral position. Okay, now from here, if you don't already have your hands interlaced, do so, because we're gonna make our movement from this position. On the inhale, we're gonna reach the palms up toward the ceiling and take just a little bit of a heart opener. Keep the core engaged for support here. And then exhale, release the hands down toward the low back to re-interlace. Just another way to find a heart opener. Inhale here. Exhale, hinge forward, power lunge. Shifting the weight into the right foot, we're gonna shift all the way, maybe hop the left foot forward or bring it up off the mat. Warrior three with the bind behind us. Let's scoot back because I'm hitting my head against the wall. All right, keeping that left hip anchored down. Feel the left glute engage as you lift through that heel. Now from here, kind of a funky movement, we're gonna come upright, bring the left knee with you. Nice. Okay, playing with one more shape here. So point the left toes, root down through the right foot. Inhale, baby standing back bend. Set the left foot down, wiggle it out. Maybe shake out the arms. We have one more shape that we're gonna find here with this hand bind. So as you feel ready, reclasp hands, shift the weight back into the right foot, bend the left knee up. And then on the exhale, we're gonna bend into the right knee and send the left foot behind us, knee is bent. Upharga Hamsasana, our upward bird. Option to stay right here, actively feeling that left glute turn on, or option to point the left toes, maybe catch the top of the foot in the hands, and kick the foot into the hands while you still continue to lift that knee. You can always come in and out as you need. Exhale, gently release the hands, the foot, step it all down, wiggle it out. Let's give a little shake. Wiggling through the body, the arms. All right. On the inhale, arms come all the way up. Interlace the fingers once more, other than index fingers, and just take a lean to the right, hips go left. Inhale up through center. Exhale to the left, hips go right. Inhale through center. Exhale, fold all the way down. Planting the hands, we'll step the left foot back. Lower that knee, inhale. Exhale, plant the hands. Right foot steps back but hovers into a plank. All right, now in your plank, option to stay here, option to move through with 2 hand, 1 foot vinyasa, or option to lower that foot. and move through a traditional vinyasa. We'll all meet in a downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths. On your next inhale, left leg will lift. Exhale, toes toward mat. Inhale, lift, feel that glute. Exhale, knee toward left elbow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, toes toward mat. Inhale, lift, feel that glute turn on. Exhale, knee toward left elbow. Step the foot forward. Lower the right knee. Inhale, bringing the torso all the way up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. With the right toes curled under, let's lift the right knee, high lunge. Take a breath here. Option 2, interlace fingers the awkward way and press that thigh away if that's what you did on the last side. Feel that it's the entire unit of the torso that responds to this pushing away. It's not just, the ribs flare and the heart lifts. It's the entirety of it. That's what will create some stretching through that right hip flexor. On the inhale, let's bring the hands up toward the ceiling. Little baby back bend here. Exhale, release the hands toward the low back. Reinterlace them the awkward way. Another baby back bend. Exhale, hinge forward, power lunge. Feel your strength here. If you're like me, you're too close to a wall, hop your left foot back a little bit in preparation. Or if you find lifting off is just hard, hop your foot back a little bit because that'll shorten the stance. All right, and then from here, we're lifting up, finding warrior 3. Feel that right glute engage. And then bring the whole unit upright, bringing the right knee with you. And exhale, step it down, shake it out. Nice. We're doing lots of really controlled dynamic movement. So I want to give us time to shake out between it. Okay, from here, same interlacing of the hands, same left foot balance, but this time we're going to bend into the left knee and bring the right knee up behind us, finding our upward bird. Now you can always point the right toes and catch that foot with the hands, maybe adding in a little bit of a kick. Still keeping that right glute engaged though. Think outer hips hug in. And on the exhale, gently release, knee upright. This is where we find that little baby back bend, heart lifts, and release everything, shake it off. Whew, those are spicy. All right, let's inhale the arms all the way up. And exhale, pull it all the way down. Fingertips on the mat, right foot steps back, lower that knee, inhale. Exhale, left foot hovers above the mat, plank pose. Same vinyasa options as last time. When you feel ready, go to the belly. We're not meeting in a down dog this time. We're gonna meet on our bellies. All right. So let's start by pressing the tops of the feet into the mat and bringing the big toes to where they touch. And then from there, maybe as you press in, that feels okay, or maybe you need a little more space, but I want us to start kind of close. Tops of the feet press in, and then the pelvis presses in. Hands are beneath shoulders, but on the inhale, we're going to pull the navel in and peel the heart up without using the hand. Let them hover above the mat. Shoulders draw toward one another on the backside of the body. Check back in with the core. Check back in with the pelvis, with the tops of the feet. One more breath here. On your exhale, soften the torso back down and wiggle the hips out. All right, let's do this again. Tops of the feet press in, pelvis presses in. Inhale, peeling the heart up. Again, check that the navel draws away from the mat, toward the spine. From here, maybe you reach the arms back by the sides. Maybe you lift the legs, finding full Shalabhasana, full locust pose. Feel those glutes here. As you lift the legs even more, feel how the glutes turn on. Try to soften the shoulders down the back, lifting the heart more. And then exhale, melt everything down to the mat. Bend the knees, windshield wiper the legs side to side. Release the legs down toward the mat. Plant the hands, press up and back. Downward facing dog. All right. We're gonna get into our transverse set. So let's start with the right leg. Inhale, lift that leg up, but this time bend the knee, opening the hip. On your exhale, look forward, draw that knee across the body. So we're really rotating the torso a lot toward the left elbow. Inhale, come all the way up and back and open that hip. Exhale, come all the way forward, knee goes across the body. Inhale, up and back, open hip. This time, let's flip it all the way over. Wild thing, lift through the heart. The back might feel nice and primed for this. Feel the glutes supporting here. Look down toward the mat. Come to the outer edge of the left foot. Bring the arm close into the body and then bring it all the way up. Right leg comes up, side plank. Look toward the left hand. We're gonna step that right foot forward. From here, right foot plants about a foot in front of, and a few inches out to the right of the right foot. And then we spring load the front leg. Fingertips on the mat, open up to the left. Ardha Chandrasana. Half moon pose. One more breath here. Exhale, bend into the right knee, lower the left foot exactly how it is. And then windmill the body up, finding your warrior two. Settle into this shape. Circle out the wrists maybe while you're here. Think of glutes drawing toward one another, right knee opening, and the hips sinking straight down toward the mat. On an inhale, let's straighten out all of the limbs. Point both sets of toes toward the corners of the mat. And on your exhale, I want you to bring hands together overhead. Let the butts of the palms touch, the outer edges of the pinkies and the outer edges of the thumb. So we have what's called Padmasana, or Padma Mudra, Lotus Mudra. Hold this over your head as you bend halfway down into the left leg, maybe reaching the right toes up. Kind of a hybrid of Archer and Skandasana here. One more breath here. Exhale, hands to heart center, lower all the way into the left leg. Soften here, letting the inner right thigh release any amount. Now on an inhale, I want you to think of that right heel dragging toward midline and pressing into the left foot. Try to do this either with no hands or with as little hands as possible. We're gonna shift up through center, staying low, and then come over into the right leg, Skandasana. All right, take a breath here. We're gonna do that again. So dragging left, pressing into the right, come up and over into the left leg. All right, from here, lower the hips down and pivot to face the front edge of the mat, letting the left knee come down and point toward the front. So we have half hero here, left leg in hero, right leg extended. Inhale the arms all the way up. Exhale, straight line from fingertips to hips, hinge forward as much as feels okay. Use an inhale to draw yourself back up. On the next exhale, well, not the next one because I'm too busy talking, but where we're headed is that we're going to find our way into a low lunge. Now, the mechanics of this, the hips have to shift a little bit to the left, over that left shin, and then we drive forward, all right? So we can reach forward with the hands for counterbalance, maybe hinge the torso forward to liberate the sit bones, over to the left, and then all the way up, low lunge. Nice. All right, take another breath here. On your exhale, we're gonna plant the hands, framing out this right foot, and curl the left toes under, send the right leg all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Now from here, we're gonna lower the left elbow and bring the right palm in line with the left elbow. The left hand might wanna come more toward the midline. That's okay. You can make sort of a triangle between right palm, left elbow, or you can keep the left palm straight ahead of the elbow. Now, really keep the hips square here. The right knee is gonna bend and come toward the right elbow. And then squeeze heel towards sit bones. Then inhale, send the right leg back up. All right, exhale, right knee, right elbow. Squeeze the heel toward the sit bone, maybe rocking forward a bit, looking forward. And then inhale back up. All right, last time, right knee, right elbow. Option to lower the crown of the head, inside of the left wrist, squeeze right heel towards sit bone. Feel the left leg draw back into its hip socket, and maybe the left leg can lift. That right heel really has to draw in though, and then that left femur has to go into the hip socket. If the leg is lifted, go ahead and lower it. Now this is the hardest part. Release the right knee, backing up, and then press all the way up. Through every point of contact, lifting the head. Whew. Nice, come back into a normal downward facing dog. And then lower the knees. Bring the torso upright, hands resting on the thighs. All right, fiery set. We have that set again on the other side. And then we have some closing shapes, and that's really it. So you know at this point, the tricky things that await you. Whether that makes it easier or harder, I don't know, but you do know. Let's take a couple breaths here. Rinse all that off. Again, maybe we add some shaking. And as you feel ready, let's open the eyes, inhale the arms up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up, bend the knee, open the hip. Exhale, complete opposite rotation, left knee, right elbow. Inhale, leg up and back, opening that hip. Exhale, across the body. Inhale, up and back, Option to stay here, option to tip it over, finding your wild thing. From here, look down toward the mat. Come to the outer edge of the right foot. Bring the left hand toward the heart and then lift it straight up. Left leg lifts, maybe knee is bent, maybe it's straightened. Exhale, left foot toward the front edge of the mat. Nice. Left hand a foot in front of and a little out to the left of the left foot. Shift into the left foot. Lift the right arm, right leg. Ardha Chandrasana. Find your balance. And then we're gonna lower the right foot exactly as it is and come up warrior two. Take a couple breaths to be head up. Again, a great place to roll out the wrists, roll out the shoulders, whatever feels good. Really think of opening that left knee, sinking the hips a little lower. On an inhale, we're going to straighten everything out. Turn the toes to point toward the corners. Bring the hands into Padma Mudra. And exhale halfway into the right leg, maybe coming onto the heel of the left foot. One more breath here. Exhale, hands to heart center. Lower all the way down into the right leg. Nice. All right, so it's here that we do those really intentional skandasana. Actually, it'd be a skanda vinyasa. Kind of fun to say. So think of left heel dragging in, press into the right foot to lift enough to shift over and lower. You are welcome to use the hands, just use them as little as possible, being very mindful about it. All right, same thing. Drag right, press left, and up and over. This time, lower the hips, lower the right knee, and square up to the front edge. On an inhale, arms sweep up, long line from toes to hips. Don't break that line as you hinge forward, even if it means you hinge forward precisely 1 centimeter. That's great. That's keeping the stretch where it needs to be for this specific instance. On your next inhale, ease out of this. And this is where we do that mobility work, trying to lift the hips enough to shift them right and then forward. So I like to counterbalance my hands forward, hinge forward, shift to the right, and inhale all the way up, low lunge. One more nice breath here. Exhale, lower the hands, frame out the left foot, right toes curl under, left leg goes back and up, three-legged dog. All right, now make sure that hip is squared down and that hip is kind of drawn in, okay? From here, this time we're gonna lower right elbow, slide the left hand back to be in line with the right elbow. On your exhale, left knee toward left elbow, squeeze heel towards sit bone, the hips will lift. And then go up and back, re-square the hip. Exhale, knee toward left elbow, squeeze heel towards sit bone, and lift, inhale. This time, exhale, knee toward left elbow. Option to stay right here, working the shoulder strength, or to lower the crown of the head down inside the right wrist. Squeeze left heel toward sit bone. Think of drawing the right femur into its socket and maybe lifting up. If the right leg is lifted, go ahead and lower it. Lift the left leg off, lower it, and press into the foundation. Coming up to a down dog. All right, let's lower the knees. Sink the hips back on them. Finding your child's pose or a seated shape, easy seat. We're just gonna take a couple breaths. We don't have much left, but I want you to use these final moments here just to scan through the body and notice what might be missing. If you put weight into the head, I would suggest a spinal twist of some sort and also something like plow pose or shoulder stand. Maybe your shoulders feel tight because you worked on that shoulder hold, so maybe you go to the belly to do some shoulder opening. Maybe you're seated here right now in your child's pose or in your seat and you're just thinking, this feels glorious. Maybe you ride that out. Although we did internally rotate, we did not externally rotate at the hips, so that might be something that you desire as well. So in a moment, we'll have a chance to explore. We have just a couple final shapes together. So let's go ahead, open the eyes if they aren't, and we're gonna transition to a seat. So if you were seated on your heels, then go ahead and kick your legs out ahead of you. If you're in a child's pose, transition as well. So feet are planted, knees are bent. We're gonna bring the hands behind us. You can have them point back or you can have them point forward. Pointing the fingers toward the front edge of the mat is traditional in this shape, but if that doesn't feel doable in your shoulders, then you could always angle out to the sides or even go the whole way back. But if it does feel okay, then have the fingers point toward the front edge of the mat, wrist beneath shoulders, move the feet to about hips distance apart, and then on an inhale, we're gonna press into the feet, lifting up into either a reverse table like I'm in now. If this feels pretty doable though, then I would challenge you to lower and extend the legs, and then inhale, lift, reverse plank. Keep the shoulders drawn toward each other. Keep the chin neutral. Feel the glutes support the body. Outer hips hug in, glutes press gently up, shoulders hug in and press gently up. Press into the feet, press into the hands. One more breath here. Exhale, soften down. All right, maybe work out the shoulders. The last thing that we're gonna do is just a little bit of external rotation together. But we're gonna do it in tabletop format. So left knee is planted, right ankle to left knee. Again, fingers point forward if possible. This time we are doing reverse table, so make sure the feet are planted with knees bent. Flex the right toes, press into the left foot, and then slowly lift up. Finding your figure four reverse table, and press the right knee down toward the mat. One more breath here. Lower gently down. Kick the legs long, wiggle them out. All right, last thing that we do together. Right foot plants, left ankle, right knee. Flex that foot. Plant the hands. Grip into them. Again, think of that index thumb pinch movement. And then slowly press into the right foot. Lift the hips up. Shoulder blades come together on the back. Press the left knee down toward the mat. Feel the glute support here. One more breath. Exhale, release. All right. Any additional movement from here on out is yours. So that might mean moving straight to Shavasana. That might mean any of the things I mentioned before, or it might mean something different. Please do know that at the end of class, sometimes that's where you feel the most ready to practice something that you've been working on. You don't need to wind down. Maybe the first thing you do is this shape that you've been pushing yourself with. And then you have your wind down. That is fine. Know that traditional Shavasana is always an option, as would be a Shavasana with legs up the wall or bottoms of feet together, knees wide, or maybe closing in a seat. But allow yourself these couple minutes of stillness, of silence, of grounding. There's nowhere to be but here. There's nothing to do but this. Nothing else exists beyond this one moment. So, what is it to be right here, right now? If the mind begins to wander, which it will do at some point, just gently remind yourself that you are not your thoughts, and then take a step back from them. Instead of being carried away, allow yourself to remain present, holding in your mind's eye this image or impression of what it is to be in this body, in this space, right here, right now. Check back in, noticing again if the mind has wandered. Again, with gentleness and kindness, taking it as a moment, an opportunity to simply redirect. With the exhale, lengthen out longer than the inhale. With the Same subtlety that we use to bring attention back to the breath. You might work in little wiggles, fingers, toes, maybe gentle wiggles of the hips or shoulders, the jaw. On an inhale, you might even take a stretch of the arms overhead, just like we did at the start of class. Potentially exhaling with a sigh or a yawn. Making a conscious release of all that's happened in this last hour. And from here, use whatever means of getting to a seat as feels most nourishing to you. Just be mindful and intentional. On an inhale, we can sweep the arms out to the sides and up, palms touching overhead. Exhale, thumbs pausing at the forehead, the mouth, and heart center. Use this opportunity to set any sort of intention that might feel right as you navigate into whatever comes next. Namaste.